Hello everyone. Today we're going to be doing some balancing yoga. I'd like to stress that yoga is all about balance, so today we're actually going to be doing a lot of balancing. A lot of balancing poses on one leg on the other, so a lot of our time is going to be spent standing up. So it's important that we stretch out and really warm up our legs and our ankles because they're going to be really important. So I'm going to start off just taking a nice seat, filling our lungs up with air, inhaling deep through our nose, and exhaling through our mouth, reaching down, trying to touch our toes. And just try to get that stretch. Work up, stretch these hamstrings out, because then we're doing a lot of work. And relax, return back to your neutral spine. Take a nice deep inhale in here. Through the nose, filling our lungs up with air, holding the breath inside, exhaling, folding forward, reaching down once again toward our toes. And relax. Mirroring me, take your left leg, cross it over your right, interlace the fingers in your toes, and just use that to get some ankle rolls. Ankle's an important joint. It helps stabilize us when we're balancing. So it's important that when we're doing these balancing poses, that we have our ankle nice and warmed up so we're less prone to injure it. So we're going to stop when our foot reaches the front again, and then reverse the rotation. So if you're going front to back, go back to front. If you're going back to front, go front to back. Just reverse it. Get both stretches out of the way. And stop where you're at. Lower yourself gently down to the ground using your hands. Keep your legs in this figure 4 position. Take your hands, shoot your left hand through the hole between your legs, and you can either grab at the hamstring, or if you're flexible enough, grab at the shin. And just pull in to your body. Opening up that left hip. Pull into that body, open up that hip. You got this for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Unthread your hand, uncross your legs, and just grab both knees and just hug them and pull them into you. You can just stay here if you'd like, hugging your knees, pulling them into your chest. You can rock a little bit, back and forth, or side to side. Whatever you need to do to warm yourself up. And relax. What we do to one side, we do to the other. Once again, balancing, no pun intended. We're going to take the right leg, cross it over the left, shoot the right hand in between the hole in our legs, and either grab at the back of the hamstring, or reach through and grab at the shin, and just pull your body in. We'll be opening up that right hip of yours as you pull in to your body. We got this for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Roll yourself up. Use your hands. pull yourself back up into that seated position. Right leg across the left, and just interlace the fingers and the toes. Get more of those ankle rotations on the other side. Doesn't matter which way you go, because halfway through we'll stop and then reverse the rotation. It's important to get the blood flowing here to the joints. Encourage the synovial fluid to be created and be released. Loosens up the joint. We'll stop where we're at and then reverse the rotation. So I was going back to front, so now I'm going to go front to back. And you do whatever way you were doing, opposite rotation, just to get that nice warm up in your ankle. And we'll stop there and then uncross our legs. Meet our feet out once again in front. Fill our lungs up with air. Take a nice deep inhale. And exhale, fold forward, reaching down toward our toes. If you can't reach your toes, it's okay. I can't reach my toes. I got some tight hamstrings. I'll work on this flexibility a little bit, but we all have different parts of our bodies that need work, and that's okay. As long as we keep striving to do better and be better, our weaknesses won't hinder us. Always working on improving ourselves. And relax. Let's swing on over into a table position. Table, for any newbies out there, first time watching. Knees will be underneath our hips. Hands will be underneath our shoulders. Head will be straight down, looking down between our hands. We're just going to do a gentle cat-cow here, just to warm up our neck and our spine. Lift our head up to stare out in front of us into our cow pose. You notice my chin is behind my spine. So basically what I'm doing there is I'm bending. I'll take a nice deep inhale here. Exhale, tuck my chin to my chest and around my back so I look like a scared cat. Now my chin is in front of my spine, so I'm folding. We counterbalance our folds with our bends. This is another way that we balance ourselves in yoga. So balance doesn't just necessarily mean standing on one foot and keeping our balance. Balance is working all the ways our body works equally, so that one side doesn't get stronger than the other. So we balance folds with bends. So let's take a nice deep inhale here. Flatten our back, untuck our chin, lift our head up once again toward the front of the class, to the wall, into our cow position. We're bending right here on neck, and we're going to counter this bend with a nice fold. And we're going to fold, taking an inhale, tucking the chin to the chest, rounding our back into our cat pose. And I'll take a nice deep inhale here. And flatten our back, untuck our chin, and come into our table position. We're going to step out a little bit, straighten out our bodies to come into a plank position. Once we're in our plank position, we're going to slow and control, lower ourselves down to the ground. Chest touches the mat. Lift it up to the sky. Cobra. Here we're doing a back bend, and of course, as I just mentioned earlier, whenever we do a back bend, we want to counter it and balance it with a forward fold. And a forward fold in this case will be downward dog. Nice deep inhale. Exhale, lift our butt, straighten our legs, straighten our arms. Pull our head between our arms, head between the arms, biceps next to the ears, downward dog. So it's going to be doing a lot of stuff on our legs. We're going to just walk the dog, and we're going to do that by pumping our knees up and down. Just walk that dog, get some blood in our calves. And stop walking the dog. Take a nice deep inhale here. Exhale, straighten your body, come back into that plank position, slow and controlled, nicely lower yourself down to the mat, chest touches the mat, lift it up, back into your cobra position. If you would like to do a more intense version of the cobra, you can curl your feet underneath you, and then lift your thighs up off the mat. Now our thighs aren't supported anymore by the ground, so gravity is working much harder on us, pulling our hips down to the ground. By resisting it, we're incorporating more muscles, so we're getting a deeper, more intense stretch. But as I want to stress, always do what's best for you. If this is a little too hard on your lower back, feel free to lower it back down and stay in this cobra position. Either way, you're still working on that backward bend here in our lower back. And of course, we counter our bends with folds, and our counter fold to the cobra or up dog is our downward dog. Nice deep inhale. Exhale, lift the butt, straighten the legs, straighten the arms, come up into your downward dog position. And let's walk the dog one more time here. And we'll stop where we're at, and on the count of 3, we can either step or jump to the front of our mats. 1, 2, 3. Jumping is obviously the more intense version. I'm going to maintain here in this forward fold, and while we're forward folding, you can get your block and just place it out in front of you. Place it out your left, and just hang down here, fold forward. Get a nice little stretch here. Your options are you can just let your body hang. Or you can cross your arms into a ragdoll position. Whatever works for you. In each of these balancing poses, I'm going to be pointing out different variations that you can do. So you choose what's best for you. I'm going to take a nice deep inhale here. And as we inhale, we're going to lift our hands up above our heads. Fill our lungs up with air. Meet our hands together here in our Mountain Tadasana pose. And just slightly lean back into a standing cobra. And turn to the side here. You can see that I'm slightly leaned back, getting that counter to the forward fold. And relax, return to your neutral spinal position. We're going to start off with very simple, basically a simple balancing pose, the tree pose. So we're going to place all our weight mirroring me. We're going to place it all into our right foot. And we're going to take our left foot, and we can either turn it to the side and just have a little kickstand right here. Your next choice is to put the foot on the calf, and then the most advanced pose is to put it on the inside of your thigh. One thing you don't want to do is you never want to place the foot on the outside of the knee, because your knee is only designed to bend back and front, not side to side. If we place the foot on the side of the knee, we can kick that knee, potentially dislocate our patella, and do damage to the ACL, MCL. We don't want to do that. So we're going to find our balance here in our tree pose. One way that you'll hear people talk about is the Drishti point. A Drishti point is a point on the wall, on the floor, that doesn't move. Where your head goes, your body wants to go. So if I turn my head to the side, my body naturally wants to follow that. You lose your balance. So if I find a point on the ground somewhere that doesn't move, and I focus on that laser precision, then my body is not going to want to move. So you want to find that unmoving place on the ground and just stare at it, and you'll find that it'll help you balance. If you want to challenge yourself in your tree, you can extend the branches out a little bit. And we'll hold this for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pull those branches in if you extend them out and drop that foot to the ground. Shake out your right leg, get that lactic acid out of the way, and start placing your weight in your left foot. What we do to one side, we do to the other. So find your tree in this point again. Once again, find that dristy point. I'm going to choose a spot on the ground there to focus in on. And I'm going to find my tree. And then I'm going to challenge myself by extending my hands away from me. Balance. Little branches. Our center of balance is our core. The core section right here. So anytime we move a limb further away from that core, it's going to be more challenging. So when we take our arms away, you'll see that it's much more challenging than if we keep our arms inside. So that's one way you can always, besides the foot positioning tree here, to modify the pose to make it more challenging or easy. More challenging, arms extended, easier, pull them in. Once again, you choose what's right for you in terms of arm positioning and leg position. 3, 2, 1, drop it down to the ground, shake it out. So now we're going to place all our weight, once again, here, into our left foot, into our, we're going to place all our weight into our right foot. We're just going to take the left foot up, and we just start off nice and easy by just pulling that knee up into our chest. This is your standard little pose, little stork pose. So for any of these poses, you can always just retreat back to this one. Now, as I mentioned earlier, extending a limb away from your body makes it more challenging. So if you want to make the stork pose a little bit more challenging, what you can do is you can stick that left foot out in front of you, point the toes, and then extend the arms. You can also, if this is a little challenging for you, you can use your hands underneath your hamstring and just support yourself right there. So this is basically like your step 2, and then your step 3 stork right here. No matter which one you're doing, you're working on your balance. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pull those limbs in. Slow and controlled. Return back to your mat starting position. Shake that right leg out. Get rid of that lactic acid. Place all the weight now on your left foot. Once again, balance. Do to one side, do to the other. So we're going to take our knee up into our chest. If this is all you can do, that's A-OK. This is Planet Fitness, no judgment here. So we can stay here if we like. We can extend that foot and support that right leg with our hands. Just hold it out here. Or we can start working more stability muscles into our balancing by just extending our arms out. Now we have to work on pulling this leg up, fighting gravity. We have to work our core a little bit more because our hands are out to our sides. We're just adding more muscles into our pose here. And if you wobble, it's okay. Just find that dristy point again, stare at it, and focus, and hold it for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop it down, shake those legs out. Get rid of that lactic acid. If you're shaking, that's good. Just means that your muscles are working. That's why that lactic acid is building up. That's why your leg might hurt after a little bit. That's why it's important after each of these balancing poses. We're just going to do a little shake in that leg out just to get rid of that buildup in the acids. So now here's where our block is going to come into position a little bit. We're going to transfer it over onto our right side. And as you can see, my little shirt here, I got a little rat, and he's doing the dancer pose. So first thing we can do is we're just going to curl up our left leg like we're doing a hamstring curl, and we're just going to make a little tray with our foot, with our hand to catch our foot. And then if this is good for you right here, we can take that right arm and lift it up above our heads. And we can stay right here if we'd like, but if you want to really challenge yourself, start hinging forward at your hips, like the rat on my shirt, and lean forward, finding that twisty point, and extend. At the same time you're doing this here, you're going to be kicking this left leg back toward the back wall, and that'll really, really challenge yourself. Now the block here is just in case you need it. If you hinge too far, you can just lean forward and reach down and hold this block and use it as a guide. Use this a little bit about to counterbalance. There's no shame in using a tool or falling over like that. If you fall over, guess what? You get back up again. I gotta refine my balance here. And we'll hold this for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax, pull those limbs in the opposite way that you did. Drop the foot to the ground, shake that lactic acid out, transfer the block over to the other side. There's no shame in using a tool to help you through a workout. In time, you'll eventually get good enough that you don't need to use a tool, but when you're first starting out, tools, that's what they're designed for. You wouldn't be mad if you had to use your fist to nail in a hammer. No, you use a hammer. There's no shame in using the tool. So we're going to take now our right leg, curl it up, just create that tray with our foot. I'll turn to the side here. Move my block. Turn that hand to make a little tray. Stick the left arm up into the sky. And then hinge forward at the hips to create our dancer pose. You may notice one side of your body might be easier to do a balancing pose on than the other. That's perfectly okay as well. It's just like being right and left-handed. One side of our body tends to be stronger than the other. So you might have an easier time finding a balance point on your left or your right. And it's really tough to balance when you're talking. But that's okay, because when doing these balancing poses, we're eventually helping that weakened side catch up to our stronger side, and at the same time making our stronger side better. Hold this for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Bring those limbs in, shake it out. Get rid of all that lactic acid in the legs. And now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer the block on the other side. I'm just going to take some nice deep inhales here, fill our lungs up with air, coming into our Mountain Tadasana. Exhaling, reverse swan diving down to reach our feet. We're just doing these backwards bends and folds just to warm up our legs a little bit here. Warm them up. And take another nice deep inhale here. Fill those lungs up with air. And exhale, fold forward. Work on stretching those hamstrings, because they might be feeling a little tight, a little worked out with all these balancing poses that we've been doing so far. Nice deep inhale, lifting our hands up to the side as we fill our lungs up with air. And we're just going to hold it here. Now I'm going to turn to my side. And this time we're going to place all our weight here into our right foot. And as we exhale and hinge forward at our hips, what we're going to do is we're going to take the right leg and kick it up toward the sky to come into a standing split. Your block might be helpful handy here. You can hold it right here. Depending on how flexible you are, you might be able to get your hands down onto the mat. And if you really want to balance yourself, you can take your hands and come and grab at your shin and hold it there. We got this for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop that right leg down to the ground. Lift your hips up and your hands up, and come back into our Warrior One position. Now, if you find yourself wobbling like this, you can make yourself a little bit more balanced by pulling in that back leg. Once again, it goes to the principle. The further a limb is taken away from our center of core, or the center of balance, the more challenging the balancing pose will be. So you find where your good balance is based on how wide your feet are apart from one another. So I'm going to turn toward the camera here for our next position here, but we're down here in a nice little lunge Warrior One position. We're going to take a nice deep inhale here, fill our lungs up with air. And as we exhale, we're going to hinge forward at our hips, fold forward, and come into an extended lunge. So we can stay right down here with our hands out in front of us this side, so we're creating kind of like a launching ramp from our foot, up the leg, up our back, and then out our arms. Kind of like a ramp you made when you were a little kid and jumped your BMX bike or your dirt bike or whatever. Evel Knievel jumping a ramp, or Matt Hoffman. A little ramp. But this ramp is going to take us off into our Warrior Three position. So we're going to have our block at our left side here. Put all that weight into our right foot here, and on the count of 3, we're going to take off into Warrior Three. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to take off by straightening this right leg, lifting the left leg off the ground, and coming into a Warrior Three, hands out in front of us. You can use the block here at your side to just reach down and hold right here if you need to. But if you don't need that block, extend that arms out ahead of you, kick that leg out behind you, Warrior Three. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop that foot back down, come back into your runner's lunge position. Inhale up, and come back into your Warrior One. Take your nice deep inhale here. Exhale, fold forward. This time, bring your hands down to the mat. And we're going to take this right leg and kick it up to the sky. Three-legged dog. Shake it out. Get rid of that lactic acid. We can transfer the block over to the other side. Shake it out. Come back down into our downward dog position. And on the count of 3, step or jump to the front of the mat. 1, 2, 3. Remain here in this forward fold and just relax, let the hamstrings stretch out a little bit. Once again, fill those lungs up with air. Take a nice deep inhale. Hands up above our heads. Fill those lungs up with air. Exhale the air out as we fold forward, hinge at our hips. You got another one of them coming up. Nice deep inhale. Fill the lungs up with air. And then this time when we exhale, we're going to step the right leg back and come into our Warrior One position. 1, 2, 3. Exhale, step it back, coming back into the Warrior One position. Swing the block out to the side. Take a nice deep inhale here. Exhale, fold forward to the hips, lift that back leg up, coming into our standing split on this side. Once again, our options are hold the block, hands on the ground, or hands grabbing the calf slash shin. And we're going to hold it here for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop that leg back down to the ground, coming back into our Warrior One position. Once again, the same principle applies. If you find yourself shaken, pull that back leg in a little bit. Or another modification is you can always drop down to that back knee if you'd like. Modify the position however you need to do it. Once again, we're here in our Warrior One position. We're going to take a nice deep inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to fold forward and come back into that extended lunge, that launching grand position. Hands above our head, biceps next to the ears, arm, back, leg, one straight line to create that launching ramp. And we're going to use this launching ramp to take off into our Warrior Three in 3, 2, 1. Straighten that left leg, kick that right leg out behind us. Extend the arms out in front of us. We're kind of making a capital T here. I'm going to turn to the side so you can all see. But you think about it, your body's kind of making that like a capital T here. Find your drishti point, find that capital T. And we just hold this here for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop that back leg down. Nice deep inhale up. Coming back into our Warrior One position. Let's take a few nice deep inhales here. Just fill our lungs up with air. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. One more time. Inhale through the nose. And as we exhale, fold forward, hands to the ground, and just kick that left leg up to the sky. Three-legged dog. Shake it out. And then bring it back down into our downward dog. We can just hold it here for a few seconds. And as always, on the count of 3, we're going to step or jump to the front of our mat. 1, 2, 3. And just hinge up at our hips, stacking those vertebrae on top of one another like they're a stack of coins. Create that column and just find your balance right here. Take a few nice deep inhales here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to just do a few simple poses right here. We're going to just bring our feet in together, and we're just going to lift up onto our toes, bouncing on our toes, getting those ankles off the air. Just lift our hands up above us into a palm tree pose. We're dialing it down here a little bit because we've got some tough balancing poses coming up. We're going to maintain this little balance here in this palm tree. And bring it back down. Take another nice deep inhale here. Lift our hands up above our heads. And once we reach the top, we're going to come back into that palm tree position by lifting our ankles up off the ground. But this time, we're going to hinge forward at our hips. Extend the arms out to the side. Diver's pose. Pretend your mat is like a diving board, and you're at the front of that diving board, and you're getting ready to jump out into the water, get that perfect 10 at the Olympics. And we're just going to hold it here for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop those ankles to the ground. Bring your body back up to neutral spine and shake those legs out. We started off with tree and we ended with kind of a tree there in palm tree. We did the diver afterwards, of course, but in keeping with the tree of theme, we're going to go with birds, because birds like to nest in trees. So, we're going to do a few bird poses here to finish out our balancing poses. And the first one is going to be a standing pose, and it's going to be called the eagle. So we're going to place all our weight, mirroring me, into our right foot. We're going to take the left foot and just cross it over the right leg. Now, if you're flexible enough, you can kind of do a double cross and see if you can get your foot behind. You can stay right here if you want. You can bring your hands into palm center, and if this is as far as your eagle goes, this is as far as it can go. That's okay. But if you want to extend it more, you're going to take the arm on the leg that's up. So in this case, we're going to take our left arm, and we're going to loop it under the right, turn the palms, so now they face each other. So they interlace each other like this. And we can stay here in this part of the eagle, or, as always, there's always somewhere we can take this pose to make it a little more challenging. And in this instance, we can fold forward and let the eagle take flight. The Garuda pose, the eagle. We're going to try this hold here for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse everything, so we're going to come out of our hips, uncross our arms, uncross our hips, our legs, and then just shake it out. I was losing my balance there for a little bit. I'm tired, I worked out before this, so that's okay. I'm challenging myself. It's important to keep challenging yourself. That's how you get better, make improvements in the gym. So now we're going to do one side, we do the other. So now let's place all our weight here into our left foot. Take the right, cross it over once, or cross it over twice if you can. I can't get it twice on this side, I'm a little less flexible. Once again, take the arms, you can hold them here in your prayer, or take the arm on the leg that's crossed over and bring that under the other arm. Turn the hands so the palms face each other and interlace the fingers. You could stay here if you'd like, or hinge forward at those hips and come into your eagle, flying eagle right here. We have an eagle that nests in one of the trees by where I work, and a lot of folks like to come by and take photos of it. Really popular thing. Hold this for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Unlace the hands, bring out the arms, shake it out. Take a nice deep inhale here. Exhale, fold forward, bring your hands to the mat. Step or jump back into your downward dog position. Hold it here for a second. And then drop to your knees and find yourself in that table position. So now, you keep me in line with our bird poses. We're going to do our sunbird pose. This is also a back lengthening pose as well, but it's also a little bit of balance. So, what we're going to do is we're going to come in our table position, and we're going to start placing all our weight into our right hand and the left knee. And then we're going to take the left hand, scoop it out in front of us, and take the right leg, the opposite leg, kick it out behind us. So we're forming a nice little line here from the tip of this finger, down the arm, out the shoulder, down the back, out the hip, through the leg, and finally out that right foot. This is our sunbird pose. I'll turn to the side on the next side that we do, so you can get a better angle of it. But this is our sunbird pose. We're just going to hold it here. And if you want, we can add some abdominal crunches in there by just pulling in our left elbow and our right knee to meet in the middle. Crunch, extend, crunch, extend 2, crunch, extend 3, crunch, extend 4, crunch, extend 5, and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Drop the hand down to the ground. You can take that right wrist and just shake it out, flip it, shake it around back and forth. Get the lactic acid out of there. And as I mentioned earlier, I'll turn to the other side so you can see a little bit better here. Now I'm going to place all my weight here into my left hand. Keep in mind you're mirroring me, so my directions are reversed. So all my weight is in my left hand, right knee, and I'm going to take the right hand now, swing it out in front of me, and take the left leg, kick it out behind me, coming back into that sunbird pose. Want to make sure our head is still focused down on the ground. That could be our drishti point there right by our hand. You don't want to crane your neck. Crane, bird, get it, haha. Terrible pun, no pun intended here, but lifting your neck can give you a pain in the neck. And we're just going to hold this here, but if we want, we can add those crunches. So let's pull in, right elbow, left knee, crunch, extend, crunch, extend, crunch, extend, crunch, extend, crunch, and extend for the last time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring that hand and knee down. Flip out that left wrist. Shake it out. Get that lactic acid out of there. And now we're going to do a real challenging bird pose to finish it off, because we like to finish off with a challenging pose. And this pose is going to be called our crow pose. So you can take our block and we can stick it out in front of us here. We're going to kind of be in a table position right here, but we're going to kind of bring our hands up so they're almost in a squatting position. So you can see here, I'm squatting down. My elbows are kind of by the crook of where my knee is, and I'm just kind of like a frog ready to pounce. Now, what we're going to do, I'll bring the block out in front of us. You can have a pillow as well. What we're going to do is we're going to start leaning forward, and we're going to try to balance this part of our leg, so the inside of our calf and the inside of our thigh. We'll be balancing on our triceps. So we're going to lean forward, take those feet off the ground, and just balance. Now you can use the block or your pillow to rest your head. And I'll turn to the side so you can kind of see what that looks like. Balancing on the head. But if you don't need that block, we just want to stay up, feet off the ground, into our crow pose. Really, really challenging pose. But in time, you can get it. If you need to drop those feet to the ground, do it. If you need to drop your head to the pillow or the block, do it. But see how long you can balance. Let's see if we got another 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop your feet down to the ground. Come on down. And we are right ready to go into our cool down stretching. So we just swing our hands out the side, plop down to our butts, extend those feet out in front of us, take that nice deep inhale, fill our lungs up with air, and exhale, reach down toward our feet. We started balancing in a tree, and we ended with a bunch of birds that might nest in a tree. Coming kind of full circle there. And now, we're balancing. We're finishing our balance by cooling down. We warmed up, stretched. Now we cool down, stretch, relax. Bring yourself back up into that neutral position. Nice deep inhale, lift the hands up above your head. Exhale, fold forward, reaching down once again toward those feet. Stretching out those hamstrings. We got this for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Let's take the left leg, cross it over the right, interlace those fingers, and let's just show some love to that ankle. And we'll reach the front again. Stop and reverse the rotation. And stop where you are. And then just uncross the leg. Take the other leg across. Take the right across the left. And we're going to do the ankle rotations here. Back to front. For another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop where you're at. Reverse the rotation. Balance it out that way. And we got this for another 3, 2, 1. Uncross that leg and pull in the left to meet the right. And just pull both feet in to your groin. Do a little butterfly. You can try to work the knees down to the mat, or you could flap the legs. Whatever works for you. You have your options. So one of the good things about yoga is because you're only using your own body and your own weight, and there's plenty of tools available for you, you can always modify things for yourself and your level of ability. And in time, as you keep practicing over and over again, your ability level will increase. So we can just flap our legs up and down. And relax here. We'll just take our arms, sweep our arms back behind us, lower ourselves down to the mat, and extend our hands out above our head, elbow in the opposite hand, coming into our extended butterfly. And just relax. And this pose will take us deeper into our Savasana, which is our cool down. So if you'd like, you can stay here in this extended butterfly for your Savasana, or you can go into Savasana or Corpse Pose by just extending the legs out in front of you, swinging the arms down deep to your side, palms and forearms facing down to the ground, relaxing on the mat. Savasana is our cool down time. Talked a lot about balance. So balance not just in the sense of finding a balancing pose or balancing the way we work our body, working opposing muscle groups, working the joint in both opposing directions that it may move. But we want to balance our work with our relaxation. So in the gym, that's where actually you're breaking down your muscles. You actually build the muscles up when you're resting and recuperating. So in the gym, when you're doing heavy lifting or anything, you're actually tearing down those muscle fibers And then we take in our nutrition, our proteins, our nutrients, then those will go to those tears and build them up when we're resting. So it's important that we balance our workout with our rest. So that's what Savasana does. Our Savasana balances us out, and it also prepares us for the day ahead, or the time ahead, depending on when you're doing this. Savasana is also a good time to focus on some of the lessons that you've learned just in the practice that you just successfully did. So some of the things we talked about were just doing what we do on one side, doing to the other. That's one way that we balance ourselves out. Another thing we talked about was balancing our folds with our bends. When we fold forward, we counter with a bend. So do that in all your practices. Whenever you try to do a fold, counter with a bend, or vice versa. Another thing I didn't really stress a lot of, I didn't really mention much about it, but we did talk about a lot about breathing. We want to breathe in through our nose, out the mouth. Breathing through the nose brings the air deeper into our lungs. The deeper the air gets into our lungs, the more of our lungs we're using, so the more efficient the oxygen exchange into our blood will be. The more oxygen we get into our blood, the better our muscles are able to fuel, because the oxygen basically is the fuel for our muscles to work. And then we exhale out through our mouths to get rid of all that carbon dioxide. A good way to do that is called the X-part breath, where we breathe in for X amount of seconds, hold for X amount of seconds, and then exhale for that X amount of seconds. So for instance, the 4-count breath would be inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, and then exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. And of course, the higher the number, the more efficient your oxygen exchange will be. So you can build yourself up. You can maybe start with a 2-part breath, 3-part breath. Build yourself up to maybe, an 8-count breath. But breathing is yoga, they say. If you can breathe, you can do yoga. There's always somewhere you can modify your pose or your position to make it more challenging or easier based on you. And for instance, the final lesson of the day is don't be afraid to use a tool. There's no shame in using, for like a balancing portion of yoga, using a block for helping your stability, or a chair, or a wall, or depending if you're at a studio, there might be a ballet bar that you can use for your balance. But don't be afraid to use those tools. In time, you can wean yourself off those tools, but those tools, when you're a beginner, will help you get through those more difficult, challenging poses. So let's pull yourself out of your Savasana. You can roll out into a fetal position onto your side, and then from that fetal position, pull yourself up into seated position. Once again, find whatever seating position works for you. Crisscross applesauce, knees in front of you, into a butterfly position. I'm an applesauce guy myself. We're just going to find ourselves here. We're going to close out, as always, with our Namaste. Namaste means the light in me honors the light in you. So time is our greatest gift. So I thank you for taking this time to watch this video and practice some yoga with me. Also, thank you for using your time to honor yourself. Challenge yourself in trying to do something good for your body and yourself. So hopefully as the light in me honor the light in you by giving you this good practice, I challenge you to have the light in you honor the light in all those you come in contact with for the rest of the day or tomorrow, by just being the best person you can be. You strove to make yourself a better person today by doing this yoga class. So I challenge you to go outside, wherever you're doing this, and be a better person outside in the world. May that light, your light, shine upon somebody else, make their day a little bit brighter, and in turn, hopefully, that person will follow your lead and keep spreading their light around, and before you know it, the whole world's a better place because of that. So let's take one nice deep inhale here and here through our nose. Hold the breath at the top, pull our hands down from heart center, and may the light in me honor the light in you. Namaste. Now let's go and forth and do great things. Thanks for your time.